There is plenty happening around Rangers at the moment, and supporters have a lot to talk about as the club looks ahead to the summer and the next stage of development both on and off the pitch. One of the big talking points this week has been the financial move involving a £6 million share issue, which is expected to provide additional backing for the manager ahead of the summer transfer window. The intention behind this move is clear. The club want to strengthen the squad, remain competitive, and continue building for the future. The money raised is not only expected to help with transfers, but also to support other projects connected to the club's development, which shows that the focus is not just on the short term, but on long-term progress as well. Alongside that news, season ticket renewals are now open for next season, and supporters have a deadline in April to secure their seats. There has been a price increase, which was always likely given the financial landscape in football right now. But as expected, opinions among the support are mixed. Some fans understand the reasons behind the increase and see it as part of keeping the club competitive and moving forward, while others feel the rise is difficult, especially with the cost of living still a major concern for many people. These conversations are always part of modern football, where clubs need to balance finances, investment, and supporter loyalty, and Rangers are certainly not the only club facing these challenges. While the club business continues off the pitch, attention also turns to the international break, where several players have opportunities to represent their countries. One player attracting a lot of attention recently is Emanuel Fernandez, who has been improving steadily over the past few months. After a difficult start to his Rangers career, he has really grown into his role and has formed a strong defensive partnership that is starting to look very reliable. His physical presence, pace, and ability on the ball have all been improving, and many people now believe he has the attributes to play at a very high level in the future. There is increasing talk that clubs from outside Scotland are starting to notice his performances, and it would not be surprising if serious offers arrived in the future. Modern football scouting relies heavily on data and physical profiles, and Fernandez fits many of the characteristics that clubs look for in a modern central defender. He is tall, strong, quick, and comfortable in possession, which makes him very valuable in the current game where defenders are expected to build attacks, as well as stop them. If he continues developing at this pace, Rangers may eventually face strong interest from bigger leagues, and that is often the reality for clubs who develop talented players. During this international period, Fernandez has traveled to Turkey where he is involved in matches for the Nigerian national side in a small tournament setting. These games are important for players trying to establish themselves at international level, and it is always a proud moment for any player to represent their country. There was a possibility that he could have played alongside Calvin Bassey in defense, which would have been an interesting partnership considering both players have connections to Rangers, but unfortunately injury problems have prevented that from happening this time. Even so, it is still a valuable experience for Fernandez, and the club will be hoping he returns fit, confident, and ready for the final part of the season. Another player whose future is currently a topic of discussion is Ryan Nadiri, who is attracting attention internationally due to his eligibility to represent more than one country. Situations like this are always complicated for players because the decision is not only about football opportunities, but also about personal identity and long-term international career prospects. Once a player commits to a senior national team and plays an official match, that decision is final, so it is understandable that he wants to take his time before making such an important choice. Different national teams are interested in him because of his potential and his performances at club level, and it is clear that he has qualities that make him an attractive option. For some players, choosing a national team where they might have more opportunities to play regularly can be more beneficial for their development than waiting for a chance with a country that has a very deep pool of talent. It is never an easy decision, and it often comes down to where the player feels he can grow the most and contribute the most over time. All of this shows that Rangers are in an interesting period right now, with financial planning, squad development, player progress, and international recognition all happening at the same time. The club are clearly trying to move forward in a structured way, investing in the squad, developing players, and making sure they remain competitive domestically while also aiming to perform strongly in European competitions. Supporters will be watching closely to see how the summer transfer window develops, because the decisions made during that period could shape the next few seasons for the club. As the season moves closer to its decisive stages, there is a growing feeling that the club is entering a very important period, not just in terms of results, but also in terms of planning for the future. The board's recent financial moves suggest that there is a clear intention to back the manager and continue building a squad capable of competing at a higher level. Supporters always look at transfer windows with excitement, but this upcoming summer feels particularly significant because it could define the direction of the team for the next few years. Recruitment will be crucial, and not just in terms of bringing in new players, but also in deciding which players stay and which ones might move on. Player development has been a big talking point as well, because Rangers have shown in recent years that developing talent and then selling at the right time can be a very effective model. When a player improves, performs well in Europe, and gains international recognition, their value rises quickly. That is why performances in the final part of the season are so important, because clubs across Europe are constantly watching, analyzing, and preparing offers long before the transfer window even opens. Rangers will want to keep their best players, of course, but they also know that big offers can be difficult to refuse if they help strengthen the club financially and allow reinvestment into the squad. At the same time, the manager will be analyzing the squad very carefully, looking at where improvements are needed, where more depth is required, and which players can take on bigger roles next season. Football squads evolve constantly, and even successful teams need to refresh and adapt. Injuries, fixture congestion, and tactical changes all require a squad with balance, versatility, and competition for places. The strongest teams are usually the ones where players are constantly pushing each other for starting positions, and that internal competition often raises the overall level of performance. Supporters are also very aware that consistency will be key moving forward. There have been periods of very strong performances this season, but also moments where results or performances were not at the level expected. The next step for the team is to reduce those inconsistent periods and become a side that performs at a high level week after week. That is what separates good teams from title-winning teams and teams that make deep runs in European competitions. Mentality, squad depth, and tactical discipline all play a part in achieving that consistency. Another interesting aspect is how younger players are starting to become more involved around the first-team environment. Modern football clubs place a lot of emphasis on youth development, not only because it can produce future first-team players, but also because it creates valuable assets for the club. When young players see a pathway into the first team, it motivates them, improves the academy environment, and strengthens the long-term future of the club. Rangers have always had a strong connection between the supporters and homegrown players, and fans always enjoy seeing young players come through and succeed at the club. Looking ahead to the summer, there will no doubt be rumors, speculation, and plenty of debate among supporters about potential signings and possible departures. That is part of football culture now, and every transfer window brings excitement and uncertainty in equal measure. Some signings arrive and make an immediate impact. Others take time to adapt, and sometimes unexpected players become the most important figures in the squad. Recruitment is never an exact science, but clubs that recruit well over several windows usually build strong, competitive teams. The atmosphere around the club always becomes more intense as big matches approach, and the season reaches its most important moments. Players know that every performance is being analyzed, every result matters, and every point can make a difference. These are the moments that define seasons and often define careers as well. Supporters want to see commitment, intensity, and belief, and when the team shows those qualities, the connection between the players and the fans becomes even stronger. There is definitely a sense that Rangers are building towards something, trying to improve step by step, season by season. Progress in football is not always a straight line. Sometimes there are setbacks, sometimes there are transitions, but the important thing is that the club continues moving forward with a clear plan and strong leadership. If the recruitment is right, if key players continue developing, and if the team can find that consistency, there is every reason to believe that the next period could be very interesting and potentially very successful for the club. Another factor that could play a big role moving forward is the tactical evolution of the team. Modern football changes quickly, and teams that adapt are usually the ones that stay competitive over time. The manager has been working on different systems and approaches depending on the opposition, and that flexibility could become very important next season. especially if the club is competing on multiple fronts. Being able to switch shape, adjust pressing intensity, and control games in different ways is something that top teams do very well, and it is clear that this is an area where continued improvement can make a big difference. The leadership within the squad will also be crucial during this period. Every successful team has a core group of experienced players who set standards in training, in the dressing room, and during matches. These players help younger teammates maintain focus during difficult moments and make sure that performance levels do not drop. Over the course of a long season, there are always difficult matches, injuries, and periods of pressure, and that is when strong characters inside the squad become extremely important. Teams that win trophies usually have a strong dressing room mentality as well as quality on the pitch. Supporters will also play their part as always, because the atmosphere can make a huge difference, especially in big matches at home. Players often talk about how much energy they get from the crowd, and when the stadium is loud and fully behind the team, it can push players to perform at a higher level. That connection between the team and the supporters has always been a big part of the club's identity, and maintaining that unity will be very important as the team continues to grow and develop. So as we look ahead, there is a mixture of expectation, excitement, and curiosity about what the next few months will bring. There are still important matches to play, players looking to prove themselves, and decisions being made behind the scenes that will influence the future of the club. The direction looks focused on growth, smarter recruitment, player development, and becoming stronger year after year, and supporters will be hoping that all of this work begins to translate into success on the pitch in the near future. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers are growing louder across Glasgow as Emanuel Di Maria appears to have all but confirmed his impending arrival at Rangers FC, a move that, if completed, could send shockwaves through Scottish football. Sources close to the situation suggest the veteran winger has already given his word, with only formalities separating him from a stunning switch to Ibrox. While no official unveiling has taken place, murmurs from within the club indicate a sense of quiet confidence that the deal is effectively done. Supporters have begun to speculate wildly, piecing together hints and subtle acknowledgments that point toward one of the most high-profile arrivals in recent memory. Di Maria, known for his elegance on the ball and decisive influence in big moments, would bring not only technical quality but a wealth of experience from Europe's elite competitions. Those inside the club reportedly believe his presence could elevate the entire squad, both on and off the pitch. There is also a feeling that such a signing signals clear intent, a statement that Rangers are ready to challenge at a higher level and reassert their dominance domestically. Naturally, questions remain. How the Argentine fits into the tactical setup, how he adapts to the intensity of Scottish football, and whether this move represents a final flourish in an already glittering career are all topics of debate. Yet for many, those uncertainties only add to the intrigue. Around the city, anticipation is building. Shirts bearing his name are already being imagined, and conversations in pubs and on terraces revolve around what magic he might produce in blue. Until the club makes it official, it remains speculation, but it is the kind that captures the imagination, the kind that transforms an ordinary transfer window into something far more compelling. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.